Hello Virgo, welcome to Mama Star X channel and welcome to your reading. And this reading is going to resonate with the energy of the full moon in April. I know the time of the moon is already past, but the energy and the influences of this celestial body is still going on. So don't be surprised if a lot of your feeling emotional or feeling very sensitive is still happening. Sometimes we can feel that way and we don't understand that it's not just because of the challenges that we have or because our body is feeling sensitive, but it's also because there are many changes that are taking place in our reality from an energetic perspective that is affecting us, our emotional body, our feeling body, our astral body. And every time we change our point of view, there is a change in all of these different mechanisms, which are part of our vehicle. The vehicle that our soul uses to be able to experience this physical reality. In your reading, Virgo, although it's a general reading, there are cards that are right now representing your frequencies. And it's important that if you don't feel a resonance with this reading, that you don't force yourself. This is one of those moments in our evolution of our consciousness where we really need to pay attention to how we're feeling. Because it's a guiding tool, it's a guiding mechanism. It will help you to know right away if what you're thinking or what you're knowing or what you're choosing to let in, the information that you're choosing to let in, is the right one for you. And I know it's kind of confusing because we're used to decipher data that doesn't feel right because we're more caught up about the information and how to process that information and how to analyze it and overanalyze it until we find some sort of solution that can help us feel better. But we're in one of those moments where we need to get away from that. Try the best that we can to, instead of needing to reason so that we can understand and so that we can work with that material until it feels better, doing it in that way. We're in one of those moments where we have to change our strategy and begin by doing the best that we can to know ourselves, to know who we are from an energetic perspective, because as a physical being we have a pretty good idea and we base our belief systems and information that is very corrupted, and it's not necessarily helping you achieve your goals in a way that you feel good about yourself and you feel satisfied and you feel in your power. So I do the best that I can in this reading to remind you that yes, tarot is fun, and tarot is one of the ways that can assist you to know and be more prepared or better prepared about what's to come. But it's not just about knowing how the other person is feeling about you that tarot can be used, or all the different divination oracles. It's also about knowing how to be in our power and how we use that power sometimes to participate of the experiences that we're creating, and how to make a shift if we need to let go of the things that are no longer representing us, but in a powerful way, not just in this sort of fantasizing about what is possible and how the other person, because it's like we're looking for validation by wanting to hear how the other person is feeling, and especially if the other person that we're loving or we're in love with or we're wanting to be with is behaving in regards to not being able to be with us. I mean, we're in one of those moments that, yeah, all we need is love. I'm just gonna say that like the son of the Beatles. All we need is love, love, love. And I believe that we masquerade that feeling with many different things. And it's, again, it's just the way that we've been programmed to think that to have love, we need this. We have to have either material possessions or we have to have power. But love is in the last, it's in the bottom of the list. It's not that important. But in reality, in truth, everything we do is so that we can feel more love. So besides all the things that we need to have in order to have that love and satisfaction, and then at the bottom of the list, we have the love thing. But then we have all of these different conditions and expectations when it comes to love so that we can be loved. So a lot of the soul searching that we do most of our lives is so that we can feel good about ourselves, the self-satisfaction. And I'm telling you all of this, Virgo, because you're saying, okay, get to my darn, reading. I want to know about what's going on. Well, this is what's going on. In the heart of your reading, you have a Two of Wands. And in the area of your perception, you have an Eight of Swords. Two of Wands is telling me that you're in one of those moments where you have two options. And this is what the card is showing. Two Wands. Two Wands representing your desires or goals. You can have many others, but a lot of times we tend to address them one at a time, or maybe two at a time. If we do too much, if we try to address too many desires at once, we create confusion because our operating systems cannot handle to process too much information at once. I know we've been programmed to behave in that way, but it doesn't work for us. So, we have to then start relearning how to use our vehicle in a way that is going to help us feel good and use our energy or our personal resources in a way that you don't deplete them or you don't scatter them. I mean, you haven't been taught, and we haven't been taught how to do practices to preserve our energy and how to maintain our energy. Now, because of the nature of change in our physical reality, we have access to a lot of information that can allow us to know that. But not everybody is searching for that truth. Eventually, we're going to get there. But right now, we're so saturated with all kinds of information that it's overpowering and overwhelming. So a lot of times, if we have too much information all at once, we shut down and we say, you know what, no, it's just too much. And we walk away. But then again, at a soul level, your soul has made a choice. And that choice is to change and to evolve and expand and go through this process of expansions that we're going right now. So as much as our physical aspect is saying, fuck no, I can't handle this, I don't want to do this, and ignore it, your soul will continue to create experiences to bring you back and to face the music. And that is what's happening a lot right now. And for those of us who do not want to change or resist change and are used to pushing away and ignoring, it's going to be very difficult because the nature of energy right now is that we face the imbalances and all the resistance that we have nurtured for eons so that we can heal it. So this so-called awakening that we're moving through is just another of the ways where we come to face that we're just more than flesh and bones and what we've been taught to believe. We're incredible beings of light that are very powerful once we start knowing who we are and how to use that power and how activate all the capabilities that allow you to operate with more light and from the non-physical perspective into the physicality. But of course, it's your choice. And the thing about it is, if you're not interested in knowing that, no wonder you will create this combination that I see here of energy crossing with the Five of Wands and an Eight of Swords in your perception. And the thing about it is that you have a lot of good cards around you, and your energy right now is being represented by a Queen of Pentacles. Now, for some of you, money right now might be the focus and the most important thing, but knowing how to remove the blockages in other areas of your life, such as love, is going to probably be a focus for you or important to you. Knowing how, and to know how, you need to go deeper, because it seems that with the knowledge that you have, it is not enough. You're still creating some sort of resistance, or there's some sort of conflict here. Now, conflict is sometimes going to be needed in our path, because it's just another of the ways that we can dive deeper within the information and search so that we can understand things better. We're kind of used to dealing with things at the surface. And, we have sometimes this attitude of, hey, just tell me, get straight to the point. I don't have time to go deeper. And if that wants to be your approach, no one is going to judge you. Well, people will, but the universe won't. And ideally, and once you get to know yourself, you realize that no, the only person that judges yourself is you. Because once you leave this vehicle and go back to the spirit world, nobody's going to judge you. And again, you're an eternal being. You cannot get destroyed. Your body goes back to earth, but your essence does not die. And the universe will never judge you in the same way that we will judge you down here. So, the habits that we've created and the systems and the structures of this physical reality are nowhere near to what the truth of who we are is about. So, we've created a bubble where our collective consciousness from a physical perspective works from, that is nothing to do, in many cases, what the real truth of what our reality is about. So you could either continue, and you have choices, and the choices are, you either continue operating from belief systems that are all corrupted, and it limits you in knowing how you're creating your reality and how to use your power, or you get with the program and become more aware of who you are so that you can get your power back and decide how to use it and when to use it and with whom to use it. But depending on what you know from within, not from what other people tell you or how the other people decide to validate you. See, very different approaches. Because here we have a strength card, and the strength card appears in a reading when we are learning and we're getting to understand who we are. And self-empowering ourselves by the choices that we're making. I know when to make a decision and when it's time for me to move on. And I know when it's time for me to stay and wait and observe and discriminate. See what I mean? The power of choice. When is the time for me to make a choice? Like the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is all about security, feeling good about my environment. And it's not just about money again, it's about all aspects of life, because the King of Pentacles represents the earth element, just like the Queen of Pentacles. The only difference between the Queen and the King is that the Queen is about the internal environment. I create my own security from within. And once I work that out, and then I can take initiatives that will allow me to continue to reinforce those security. So the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles, they create a team in the archetypes where it's about, yes, I like my stability in my physical world, and that stability is a combination of feeling good about myself, being at peace about the choices that I'm making, knowing my creative power, when to use it, what my emotions are telling me, what is my mind and my logic also letting me know. And it's sort of dance between the elements where it feels very harmonious. So harmony and balance for these elements are very important. So you're being represented by a Queen of Pentacles, which is again telling me that you're doing really good about your life and yourself and moving on and taking care of business. But when it comes to this particular situation that it involves someone or something, there is a situation here that for some of you is going to be about someone that you left in the past, and someone that you might have considered them as a King of Pentacles, a person that had the potential to bring to you the type of stability that you now have, or you have desire. But when I look at the heart of the reading, these Two of Wands, I feel like some of you may be looking out the window. It's a figure of speech, waiting for someone and asking yourself, when is this King of Pentacles going to come back? I've been waiting for them. And it's not that you have been purposely waiting for them, sitting around and not taking care of your life situations because of this waiting. You know, it's not like you're waiting in agony. You're not. But once in a while, you find yourself in this crossroad. And you see, you have a Two of Wands in the heart of the reading. And then you have a King of Pentacles in your head. And then the crossing energy, Virgo, is this Five of Wands. And the Five of Wands talks about having too many ideas about the goals that you have, or having too many ideas moving around your head about that one goal. And when we're processing too many ideas about someone or something, in the way that we're doing it here, because we have 5 wands crossing, 2 in the heart, and 1 that is being held by this king. So it adds up to 8. But it's interesting because we have 8 swords here in your perception, which tells me that for every idea that comes up about you feeling something with this situation or with this somebody, there is a resistance too. There is a doubt, or maybe a self-doubt. Again, I can also be describing how the other person is feeling, but you know, take it as it resonate. So and every time you think about this, of course you think about it because there is a feeling in you that is telling you or is pulling you towards the past, making you believe that you left something behind that was valuable enough to think about it in your best moment. And I wouldn't be surprised that in a full moon that energy comes up, because that's what the full moon does. It's like the fullness of this astral body helps us see and know all the emotions that we've been nurturing inside ourselves. So it's kind of like reaches a point of fullness where you can't deny it or ignore how you're feeling. That's why full moons makes us feel so sensitive. But again, I'm being told, Virgo, that you are eternal and you're made of love. You may not feel that way, or you may not remember it, but it's important sometimes to remind ourselves that we're made from love and we're eternal, even if our body does not respond really well to that information. But remember, it's all about habit. Your vehicle gets used to, eventually, to whatever habit you create and whatever things you tell yourself. And here's the thing, sometimes those of us who are empathic say, you know, I'm feeling the energy around me to such a degree that I cannot function. But yes, what we're feeling is not necessarily the energy of how that energy is the translation of what we think that energy is about, which is it's very different. Because when you're dealing with somebody, you could say, well, I'm picking up that person's vibe. And in our heads, we tend to think that whatever we're picking up is exactly what that person is feeling. But actually it's not. We're picking up and translating that energy in our way, in the way that is, you know, we are accustomed to translate it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're wrong about what you're picking up, because if it's a frequency that it doesn't feel good, you'll know right away. You know, frequencies, when they don't feel good, they just don't feel good. They're just not a high energy frequency. But again, in the way you're deciphering those energies is you. It's how you see them, not how the other person sees them. If we don't keep that in mind, we tend then to project and think that because I'm feeling this way, it's because the other person is coming across that way. So we got to start making all of these different distinctions, especially when we're dealing with an 8 of Swords and a 5 of Wands or an 8 of Wands, which is being divided here. It's dividing your energies. In other words, you look into the past, you're looking towards the past, as is showing me these 2 of Wands here, and you're holding something in your hands because you have 2 wands here that is creating a doorway where one will lead you towards the future and the other one's towards the past. But you're holding the one that it's looking back, and you're holding something in your hand which it has the colors of red and green, and I'm going to say it's a mix of passion, fire element with earth element, desires to attain something, an experience, to see it happen or manifest. And this bowl is showing me by its size that you have worked on this before. It's not your first time. Also the numbers, the numerology here is saying, you know, this is nothing new. This is something that I've done before. Or if I am in my journey right now of trying to attract the perfect someone, I've been in this journey now for quite some time. And yet, as I'm dealing with this situation, I have a lot of hesitations, a lot of doubts that are also making me feel conflicted, divided, separate. Separate because I'm not sure of what to do. I don't know if I should stay here and wait. But in that waiting, I'm looking towards the past. I want something different for my future, but in this moment, standing still, I'm looking towards the past because I don't know how to work with my future by being present, you see? Because your moment of power, where you gather most of your power and all of your energy, is in the present moment. But yet, the mind has a really difficult time being present. And when you don't know how to work with your mind to create your reality by being present and using your imagination, because that's the guide, that's the operating system that will allow you to create your future, to change the nature of the situations that you're having right now so that your future is different. So all of your resources are in the present moment. And if you understand how to operate with your vehicle or how to use your vehicle effectively, you can change your future. But it requires you to be present. From the moment that you look towards the past, now all of your energy is reinforcing the past, and what do you think is going to happen to your future? It's going to repeat the same thing. Now, what I like about this reading is that you have the Strength card in the near future, which tells me that you have, or you've reached a certain level of awareness to understand what I just explained to you. Because again, your status right now is of a Queen of Pentacles. So to get to a Queen of Pentacles, you have to know some of this stuff already. It's just a matter of continuing to reinforce that information. So it's natural that once in a while we get off the horse because we kind of fall in this void or this emptiness of feeling our own discord because we haven't reached to that point to attain that one thing that we've been wanting for a long time, right? It's like you've been in this journey for quite some time. So again, Spirit says, well, the issue why you're feeling this discord and this restriction is because you're looking towards the past. And this is your challenge right now in this cycle, your biggest challenge. In this reading, I don't see any cups, which tells me again, Virgo, that sometimes when you get too much in your head, thinking about your goals, how to attain your goals, at the same time, in this particular situation, you're feeling very restricted because you have yet to attain what you want. And especially if it's something to do with someone that you have a lot of feelings for, a lot of connections, but you haven't really had closure. It's like, you know, I need closure. Or maybe you're hearing to too many tarot readers say that this person is going to come back and you're waiting. Because, you know, sometimes I like to glance through YouTube and see what's going on out there. And my aim is not really to repeat what other people are doing. I think that everybody's doing the best they can with whatever information comes through. But I see the amount of people that are watching readers that are talking about how your person feels about you and how they're coming back. And then again, how that person is feeling about you and how they don't come back. And then eventually coming back. And I'm thinking, is that really good enough for the collective of Virgo? Is that kind of getting addictive to you? Do you feel like that's enough information to get you to resolve the differences or to let go of this need to continue to look towards the past? Because you have a devil card here at the end of the reading with a hermit. And I'm not going to say that this is all you. I'm going to say that this is happening between you and this person. And now, as you know, I'm talking specifically to those people that are having a situation with someone in particularly that you're still feeling connected to. Now, in this reading, I'm getting about 3 people, 3 different energies. But there's one out of those 3 that you're really thinking about, and you know who that is. So I'm going to say that is every time you reconnect and you think about this person, the devil comes up. But I'm glad that I see the Hermit here and the Strength card, because it's telling me that the both of you, or you Virgo, you're in this journey of enlightenment, of using wisdom, or of not just making decisions for the sake of them. You're doing your research and you're learning and you're taking the time to know yourself and to know what are the areas of your life that needs improvement and how to remove these emotions that makes you feel doubt or unworthy or afraid. So you both are working on this. But for whatever reason, when the connection gets reactivated, there are still different types of energies or frequencies between the two of you that, according to the universe, are different enough not to be a match from a physical perspective. So again, one of the reasons why you're not together with this person, or this person hasn't come back, because in truth, your frequencies, the ones that you're vibrating and nurturing, are not a match to the other person. Not entirely. And you got to ask yourself, well, if it's not a match, even though I feel the way I feel and the person feels for you the way they feel, you got to ask yourself why. Because you want stability and this person wants the same. But just because there is a couple here, it doesn't mean that it's the right couple. Every time you see in tarot a Queen of Pentacles with a King of Pentacles, it doesn't mean that it's a good match. And as you can see in this particular case, they're not even facing each other. Now, I'm not saying that in the near future that won't happen. All I'm saying is that during this cycle, what I'm seeing here is there are still enough differences to not make you come together. But again, is it good for you to wait and continue to look towards the past? Because that's the whole question. Once in a while, when you're thinking about your relationships and your life and attaining the type of relationship that you want, is it healthy for you, Virgo, to look towards the past? Is that a good habit to have? And I'm being told that no, it's not. It scatters your energy into a 5 of Wands. So it's kind of like you have a 2 of Wands here, and there is a third pass that is not being shown here. And it's the present moment. And when I picked the cards from another oracle, the first card that I can, that I brought out, because when I did this reading for the Spanish viewer, I heard that I needed to share with you some magic. Virgo needs magic, and not the magic that is dark and it makes you feel afraid and it's all corrupted with deceptions. I'm talking about that innocent, childish magic, like what it's like to believe in dragonflies, dolphins, fairies, dragons, elementals, right? All of these beings that are very mystical in nature. So I'm being told, Virgo, that when you remain in the present moment and you surrender to what is, that there are things that are happening to you or will begin to happen to you where you're going to start feeling magic, the magic within you, as well as the magic around you. And there are moments where you may feel this pull of being near water, but that's because your element does really well next to water. It'll calm you down. It'll open your energy field, and it will help you enjoy the magic of earth energy, because you have a very strong connection with earth element. So earth likes to share with you her magical world, and she has many. And I love the feeling of this energy. I have a story with this dragonfly, and I'm going to quickly go over it because I feel like it relates to your situation. When I had my Kundalini awakening back in 2009, I became obsessed with dragonflies, because in my head I thought that if I were to go to places where I would find these little beings, those were portals that would take me onto other dimensions. But that happened before I knew another way of how to finding portals. So everywhere I would go, I would always ask, is there any dragonflies? Until eventually, I missed them. I would miss them. I would never see them. But eventually I found out another path in which it could connect me to portals, and I started to have direct experiences with Gaia. But last year I went to visit my daughter, my oldest daughter, in New Mexico. And New Mexico is an area that is a part of the old world of the Mayas and Incas and Aztecs and Olmec civilization. So there's a lot of ancestral portals in that area. And a friend of my daughter decided to surprise me and take me hiking down to the Grand Canyon. And we went, I don't know if it's called the Grand Canyon, but it's definitely a really high mountain. And there is a gorge in this particular area where you could see from up down to the river. And this river is called Rio Grande. And it's a river that crosses Colorado and all New Mexico to Texas. Well, pretty high place. And she took me at night to hike down to the bottom of this place, because in the bottom, right next to the river, there are these natural pools of volcanic water. It's amazing. And it's magical because you have the river on one side. Imagine having the river, and these currents are really, really intense, and it's cold water. And next to it, you have these pools that have been created naturally. I think it's natural. And the water is so warm. So when we got there, there were 4 people in the pool. 2 of them left, and we stayed with the 2 kids, and we started to talk, and we started to share some of our experiences in our spiritual journey. And it became really magical. When you're talking to someone else about energy, you change your frequency. And here we are in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by mountain. It kind of felt unreal. I mean, it just really felt like we were in a magical place, because it's dark, pitch black, no stars, no moon, a lot of clouds. It felt like it was going to rain, but it didn't. So we were surrounded by this thick clouds. And yet we could see the earth, and we could feel the connection, and we're talking, and we're just sharing all of this information. And all of a sudden my friend starts screaming and says, look, 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 look. We were surrounded by all thousands and thousands of fireflies. It was incredible. In that moment, we all felt like children of the excitement, because it was magical. We transported ourselves to a dimension where these beings were there. But you see, what the other people didn't know is that my dream was coming true. And it happened when I least expected. And believe me, hiking down that mountain, there were moments where I felt so much resistance. There was a part of me that was excited about the unknown. And I was in no shape or with the right equipment to do that hike. And we're not talking about a wide trail. We're talking about a narrow, steep trail going down. It was all going down, 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 down. So once in a while, my knees would start to shake. And I would think, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to make it. Maybe sliding all the way down, butt down this mountain. But again, it's that desire, like the part of me that was wanting to have that adventure and to know and to be curious was bigger than the part of me that was resisting to do this. You see what I mean? And I had to come to a point where I needed to surrender, and I did. I had to let go of all the mind shattered and the resistance of not wanting to do this. And once I surrender, my energy stopped dividing itself in different directions. So I barely made it to the bottom. And when I got there, it was pretty dark already. Because I'm not used to hiking at night. And I've done a lot of daring things in my life. Because I've done bungee jump, I've done zip lining, I've gone to the jungle to do plant medicine. I mean, I've done a lot of, but again, I have my own limitations and my own fears. I know that I'm the kind of person that I don't let my fears stop me from doing certain things. So I've done a lot of daring things, but hiking with another girl by ourselves at night in a place that it was so isolated, no. So that was pretty scary. But again, we did it, and you know what? It led me to my dream when I least expected. So Virgo, when you least expect it, you'll have this opportunity of a Ten of Pentacles. You'll have it. But if you're dividing your energy and creating these swords by being too much in your head and too focused on your goals, and especially on that desire that you have that still have not come true, it doesn't help. I mean, you can do it, you have free will. The universe is not going to stop you. But again, it's not going to feel really good. And as long as you know how to preserve your energy, and then waste all you want. But it's not very efficient to go about it this way. And this is why in the advice, look at your advice. It's just amazing. You have a Queen of Swords with a Queen of Cups. A Queen of Swords facing the Queen of Cups. And it's basically the universe saying, are you paying attention to your feelings? What are your instincts are telling you? You're paying attention to your fire and to your head. But what about your feelings? You're clear, but yet, are you paying attention to your instincts? What are your instincts telling you? Because from the moment you start thinking about this person, your instincts right away get agitated. Why would you want to stay there? And if for you trying to build your future in the present moment is to think about this person in the past because this is the best you've had and this is the best you will ever have, and then you need to do a little bit of more of research. Do a little bit, more of investigation, and find meditations about affirmations, or I don't know, do another kind of, make another choice that it helps you be more in the present moment. To close this reading, I picked another 2 cards from a different deck. And interested enough, you got 48, the Wishing Well, and 3, Wizard of Awareness. And you see, Virgo, this card here of the Dragonfly Spirit, which is such a beautiful card, pulling you towards water, near water, it adds up to 3. 1 and 2 is 3 because it comes with a number 12. The Wizard of Awareness, it also has a number 3, and this 48 adds up to 3. So you have 3, 3, and 3, and that's how your reading is closing up. And the 3 represents your divine feminine, your instincts, your moon body. I call it the moon body, your astral body. The changes that are taking place within you, your creativity, your creative force, how you're using it, the power of the magician, right, within you. And the Wishing Well, look at these cards. They are reinforcing this idea that you are at a crossroad where your life is about to turn very magical. But you need to surrender. You need to let go of the expectation and remind yourself as much as you can that you are an eternal being, and you're here, your soul is here in this dimension, having all of these physical experiences as a form of exploration. And that once in a while it's nice to relax and not take things so seriously or so serious. If things are not moving quick enough in the way you want, do the best that you can to do things that make you laugh, and to change your focus into things that are more inspiring to you. Nurture love. Feed yourself with love. Talk to your body with love. Do some sort of practice that will allow you to become more in tune and more whole. Because again, it's all about the frequencies that you are nurturing. And the more you perfect that process by the law of attraction, the better opportunities you're going to create. So no time is wasted. It's just a matter how you relate in that moment to time, by the things you think and by the choices you make. This is a great reading. The energies right now that you are harnessing are great. You know, you're the Queen of Pentacles. But when you're trying to project that your vital force into this situation about relationship, there's still certain things that you need to change or at least improve to get to what you need to get. And have faith and trust. All right, Virgo. Thank you so much for being here. I wish you the best of luck. Remember, you could hear this video as many times as you need to, if that's one of the ways that you can motivate yourself. Remember, you are made of love. You are all love, my friends. Be good.